I haven't rebuilt a car in a very long time and I'm craving a rebuild. So after searching for a while on Copart, I found something, well, a bit special. That's right, the one and only Mercedes-Benz E220. Now if you're confused what I'm talking about, well, let's just backtrack a little bit. You see, when I first started out my YouTube channel, I used to only do POVs in this exact car. And this has been one of my all-time favorite cars. So it's only right to buy it again, which I did. Now the damage is not too bad, it's actually quite simple. Unless there's some hidden damage because it's Copart.
Days are speeding by, there ain't no time to cry about giving up on things I really need.
There's some slight damage on the front bumper. This can be painted over. This needs a refurbishment. This needs changing, and the door needs a paint. It's not dented, so it should be good. Now the only thing we're actually worried about is, has it hit the wheel? Has it caused any damage to the suspension arm or the ball link or the ball joints? That would be a problem. But so far it looks good. This is the only damage, which is not really a good thing, because when cars go on auction and the damage is small, the only thing you can really think of is, has it got any other damage? And this was done intentionally to hide it. So we might have gotten a bargain and we could do a really good profit on this car, or we might completely not. We might make a huge loss, but it's a gamble and we're willing to take it. So let's start rebuilding this car. Now another thing I noticed was that the rear bumper was actually a different color from the actual car, but what can you do about that? Now this is the part where everything that could go wrong does go wrong. You see, as soon as we tried taking the car down, something snapped, and what you're seeing right there is the suspension arm. Now our initial solution was to lift the car up and put a wheel dolly underneath it, but that didn't go as planned either. So our next plan was to actually reverse the trailer into the garage, try and center it on the lift, and then lift it up with the ramp while it's on the trailer. Now this obviously had its own problems as well, because the actual trailer is like slanted, it goes down at the end, which means the front of the car has to be lifted to get the ramp under it, while the back is already lifted because of the tilt that's there. So it was an annoying process where we had to use jacks to actually lift up the car, balance it out, and then get the ramps underneath it. But in the end we got it, and the car could be lifted off the trailer and we can finally start work on it. This also means we can finally actually check the damage underneath the car. And well, yeah. Now you might think this is actually bad, but in my opinion, this is the best thing that could have happened. Now the reason I say it's a good thing is because when the car crashed, all the pressure was in one center of the point, which is the wheel, which caused the suspension arm to snap. But it's better off snapping than being bent. If you look at my car, for example, it was pretty much the same damage, but at a different angle. None of the pressure was only on the wheel. It caused almost everything to be bent. And even today, the suspension is bent. So having all the pressure on just the suspension arm causing it to snap is the best thing that could have happened in this situation. Anyways, with no time to waste, we straight away start work by firstly taking off the wheels, seeing the damage, seeing what parts we need, and then taking off the bumper. Then moving on to the wheel arch, we noticed a small problem, which was of course the side skirt with the most annoying bolts in the most annoying places. And of course the ramp has to be right under the most important bolt. Luckily no other parts were damaged, which means if we just get the suspension arm, we'll be completely fine. But is this really going to be that easy of a repair? Well, we're about to find out, but first we have to sort out the under tray and the side skirt. So after hours of hard work and regretting wearing a white shirt, we finally got it done. And what was in front of us was just a dead Mercedes. And we're not even sure if anything else is bent, we're just assuming that the suspension arm is the only thing that's damaged. But we're about to find out. Now the first thing we've got to do is actually get the part. Now there was two options. There was a cheaper one on eBay, but it would take around 3 days, or a more expensive one in a store locally 5 minutes from the shop, and we could get it now. And well, you could take a wild guess at what we got. Well, if you look at the footage in front of you, yeah, a brand new one locally from the shop. Because we just want to get this out of the way. Anyways, this means we can start unbolting everything that's holding down the suspension arm and just replacing it. And it should be that simple. After that came off, we could move on to putting the new one on. Now it's time to put the wheel on and see if everything is straight. Now so far everything seems to be straight, but can it drive? The car drove and steered perfectly fine, which means this might not be that big of a job, but we still had a lot of work to do. Now most if not all of the work that's left is actually bodywork, so I'm talking paint, painting the door, the bumper. So let's go disassemble the bumper and get it prepped for paint. Now sending it over to get painted, we can see the bumper being prepped and the door itself already starting the painting process along with the wing. Now all we've got to do is wait for the paint to be finished, dried, and we can start fitting it back on. We begin by putting everything on the door back onto the door. This is because you have to take off before the paint, like this includes the handles, inside, the trim. Then onto the freshly painted fender wing fin. Now checking if the paint actually matches. And it wasn't looking good. The bonnet and the wing on the other side looked different. Along with the rear bumper that I talked about previously, it's gonna look ugly. So we had no choice but to repaint the entire front end. That was being prepped, we put the headlights back on and other little pieces of the car like the top trim and the side skirt. Then we can start reassembling the bumper, which is one of the most annoying things because Mercedes has so many features that the bumper is just full of electrics. Then painting the front grille emblem because I had this little scratch on it and I want to make it look nice. Then it was just a matter of raising the car, putting the under trays back on, and the car should be done. And that's it. The car's done, ready to be back on the road. From a complete snapped and undrivable car to actually one of the best Mercedes has ever made.